First thing I'm going to do is we have 3 pies. We have our beautiful little gold standard pie baked right to midpoint on the instruction set. Okay. Notice some characteristics. It's got a nice even brown around the edge. There's no eruptions, okay, on the crust. It has a nice even brown appearance. A few little cracks where the vent holes. That's standard. That should makes it look homemade. Conversely, we have an undercooked pie. Okay. On this one, you might not be able to see it, but the crust hasn't quite cooked and set. There's some, this is hard to do it backwards. There we go. There's some translucency in the crust. Okay, it hasn't fully cooked. Also, if you try to cut into this pie, the starches and the pectins haven't had the heat to do their job, so all that free water would just sort of run out. So that would be another indication. And then on the flip side, overcooking a pie, you're going to get a little excessive browning on the crust lip. The pie filling will boil. Okay, that creates steam. That steam gets locked, and then you get a blowout. Okay, like you show here. Okay, that's not good. It tastes burnt, and it's sticky, and it smells bad. So, to cut a pie, I suggest you all use a serrated. Some people might call this a bread knife. You can see it has a. Watch me cut myself on camera. It has a scalloped edge versus a chef knife, which has a smooth edge. These little scalloped edges help you get through the crust without breaking it or fracturing it. The whole idea is to try to get the pie onto the plate without making it look like cobbler. We already have cobbler. This is pie. Okay? So I've got some plates here. Hopefully you can see. One of the first things I'm going to do is kind of get a visual. I'm going to cut this in 8 slices eventually. So try to find the midpoint. It won't always be the whole, unfortunately. It'll be sometimes just left or the right of that. Take the tip of your serrated knife, stick it right down until you can feel the crust. Okay, and I'm going to use just the weight of the knife. I'm not going to drag it through. Okay, I'm just going to use the weight of the knife and just gently, little sawing motion here. I don't want to break the crust. Okay, but I want to get all the way down into the crust edge. And then I'm going to kind of use the tip and do little quick sawing motions here, okay? And you want to get down all the way through the bottom crust, okay? Don't feel, I'm using a pie circle here to make sure I don't cut through the table, but all the way to the edge. And then when you get to the heel of the pie, which is the back end of the pie, you want to make sure you really kind of wiggle the knife and get all the way through. And then 180 degrees around, do the same thing. And then you can kind of some visuals there, okay? For quarters, we're just going to do 1/4 return. Again, 180 degree turn. Have I lost anybody yet? Okay, good. There we go. If you're hungry, you can stop here. But for sampling, we're going to go ahead and do 8s. Okay. Again, really, it's all about being gentle and not rushing it and taking time to get it cut. Now, to get it out, one of the things, first of all, you have to make sure this is set. We baked these last night. They've had overnight to set. When in front of the customer, one thing you definitely want to do is if your pies have arrived directly from our plants to you or from a hub and it's shipped on dry ice, you really have to let it temper overnight. You can't cook a frozen pie that's off of dry ice. It's just going to be too frozen in the center. You're going to end up something looking like this. You're going to have a really burnt edge, a really wet, doughy center. So it's got to temper overnight in a 0-degree freezer before you can cook it the next day. So plan at least 2 days ahead. Okay, and then once it's baked, it needs at least 2 hours to set at room temperature. Okay, so all that starch kind of grabs the free water and it sets up. Okay, so to get it out, one of the things I like to do is just kind of, I don't know if you can see that, but I've sort of just made a little notch. The first slice is always the hardest, right? So make a little notch in the pie tin. That gives the tip of your spatula somewhere to go. The first slice is never the best. It's usually the 3rd or the 4th slice where it's kind of your hero shot. So give that one to the customer, okay? Okay, get it all the way in, just jiggle it out. You're going to have to use your hands a little bit. And then use your finger and pull the spatula away. And it comes onto the plate, kind of looking like that. Right? A little bit of break on the tip, but that's expected. Try one more. Let's do a little bit of a prettier one for you. Good, silent, captive audience. Fascinating. All right, let's try this again. So again, just go down, lift it straight up. That one's much prettier. All right, there we go.
Trying to make us sick.
Motion sickness, right? Lastly, as Katie mentioned, there's a nice garnish packet. This cherry pie comes with a rich dark chocolate fudge sauce. This isn't Hershey's syrup. This is like more of a Miss Richards milk chocolate fudge, so it's really, really rich. If you look at it, it has a little, where is it? What's on this side? It has a little tear on the edge. That will tear it all the way across, and you can just sort of go right over the pie. What I like to do is make just the smallest little hole on the corner with a pair of scissors. And what this does is kind of emulate a pastry chef's piping bag. So now you have this bag of chocolate, okay?
The opposite corner of the tear?
I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the question was opposite corner. I think just as long as you have just a little hole right there. Can you see this? Over here?
Oh,
Down here?
sorry.
Over here? What?
I'm with you.
All right, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is just a little bit of a hole here. Have the pie facing away from you. Make sure it's in the center of the plate. And you're kind of just do a nice little lattice pattern. Okay. There's enough chocolate in here for 8 slices. If you're showing it just to 1 or 2 buyers, feel free to go crazy. So you can,
Are you doing like little figure eights?
yeah, just kind of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. That's a little bit heavier. So, garnish and serve. That's it for plating. So just to read it, Katie already mentioned about some of the characteristics. No high fructose corn syrup. You can pronounce all the ingredients. No preservatives, no artificial flavors or colors. Real fruit, real sugar. When cutting against a Marie Callender's pie, which I have here, side by side, one of the things you want to do is get a slice of ours and a slice of theirs, peel back the crust, and kind of spread the fruit onto the plate. And it'll be immediately apparent that we have more and wholer, gianter pieces of fruit. It came out kind of rough, but you know what I'm saying? Okay? We have more fruit than Mrs. the Marie Callender's, okay? Our pies have less dough, more filling. They're also larger, side by side, more weight. Real butter, I mentioned that. There's no partially hydrogenated oils. There's no sodium metabisulfates. Okay, and it tastes better.